If you hate your job, why don't you just leave it? Why don't you just get another job, Michelle? Why don't you just get another job?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
This is a question that you're going to get that people, especially in service work like Starbucks, they get this question all the time, which is, if you hate your job, why don't you just leave it? Why don't you just get another job, Michelle? Why don't you just get another job?
I mean, I think the first part of wrong information in there is that we hate our jobs, because we don't. Part of what Starbucks was really good at is creating this community and creating these environments in these stores that allow you to have these connections with your customers, with the community around you, and with your fellow coworkers within your store. They actually they cultivate that. They encourage you to create those. We actually have a term in the company called a customer connection. So we don't hate our jobs. I mean, before this organizing effort, I'd been with the company 11 years. If I'd hated the job, I wouldn't have been with the company for 11 years. Mm-hmm. We love our shops and we love our customers and we love the people we work with. And when you love something, you work to make it better. You don't seek to leave it or tear it down. We're simply asking for the opportunity to have a voice in those shops, to be able to, have a direct line to the people making the decisions, essentially, and allow us to have the opportunity to help with those decisions. Right now, we're at the mercy of whoever's sitting up in some tower in Seattle and passing these, procedures and protocols down to us and saying, well, now we need you to do this. There's no conversation with those hourly workers to say, is this actually going to be what's best for the store, for the customer, for the workers? There's no conversation. And that became more and more evident in the middle of a global pandemic. When we were being asked to enact even safety precautions that just weren't sufficient. And there was no leadway whatsoever to be able to say, hey guys, this isn't working. There was no way to say this is what you're asking us to do. It's not feasible. It's not working. And so we don't hate our jobs at all. And I think there's also there's a mentality within the service industry in general. And I think you touched on it earlier, that these jobs are temporary or they're unskilled. And so you should just be able to suck it up. If you are in this situation for a limited period of time, you're putting yourself through college, or you're, in high school, or this is temporary while you're in the middle of a career change, that you should it's acceptable to deal with a certain level of disrespect. And it's acceptable to not have safe working conditions, and it's acceptable to not have fair wages. And for one thing, that's just absolutely not the case. I don't care if you're doing this job for 3 months or if you're doing this job for 12 years. Those are things that should be ensured to every worker. Certainly when the umbrella of that job is a multi-billion-dollar corporation who can do so much and more for their workers and would just choose to keep the shareholders happy, as opposed to ensuring that their employees who bring in those billions of dollars of profit are taken care of.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.